Hello, everybody. This is Tariq Alwan, and this is a quick technical demo for lab number 5, the DHCP on router for the ICT3050 for Epic College. I have noticed that some students, they struggle building topology, although we give you almost all the configurations being given here, the code, with the exceptions of the basic configuration or the basic setting, since you have done that many times, so we actually didn't give you that. So let's see very quick how to build that, and I'll show you that it's not that big issue. Since we have that serial link, we need to add that to the router. I'm gonna use this router to add. Here it is. Some of you, some of the classmates, I have noticed that sometimes they struggle and they don't remember how to add hardware. Turn this one off, take the H2 wick and put it on here, turn it on again. You have the router, and then after that, copy that and paste it twice. You have 3 routers, or build one by one, but that's much easier and quicker. As well, this one you can change the name if you want to. Here, I'm not, this is the, for example, R1, and that's R1. Usually I prefer to do everything through the CLI. However, for this case, it's okay. I'll overlook that. So that's R2. And that's R, or this is ISP. Let's name it ISP as well. ISP. And for here, let me go to the reference here and take the model, the device model. I don't want to see the device model. Then we link those ones together. Here, that's DC serial 00. And I'm gonna link it to serial 00, and that's serial 00 as well. Please stick to our configurations, the one we give you in the lab, if you planning to use our code. If you coding yourself, it's okay. Feel free to do. We have no problem with that. So that's how it is. Yes. Then after that, we put a couple PCs. Yep, that's 1, that's 2. And here we have a couple switches as well. That's 2960, 2960, and here it is. Now link those together. That's G0 to this one. That's 11. And from the 18 to the PC, similar to that from here to the F6, and from the 5 to the G1. Quick thing to understand from the given code over here. So you can tell from the G0 that this network, that one will be 192.168.0.0. That's /24. This network 192.168.1.0, 1.0/24. This one 192.168.2.0/24, and since that's router number 1, this is serial 0253. That's the one. That's serial the DC. That's .253. And this one is 254. And they put it here as, just let me take this one back again. They put this one as /30, not /24. So as you can see here, the subnet mask is 252, which means that that's /30. So we have those ones, the DC, which is that one, that's 253, and this one 254. Going across the other side, that will be 209, 165, 200, whatever, that's so 200, 020, that's 28. Here it is. And from those ones, that's 28, since this one is the 224. So I'm gonna put over here the DC1, that's 226, that's 226. And this one, the ISP serial 001, that's the DC. So that's the 226, as we mentioned. And over here, that's 2.225. That's if you want to focus on how to configure from the topology without looking at those numbers. So it's up to you. Whatever you like, it's okay. We have no problem with that. Whatever you are happy with to configure, it's okay with us. Now let's go here. The PC, we don't have to put any IPs for now. Let's go here and start configure. Start with no IP domain lookup all the time. Usually we ask you to configure those ones. For the sake of the demo today, I'm going to skip the basic configuration as we have done in the lab. We leave it for you. So now let's go for that's the gig Ethernet 00 and the IP address 192.168.0.1, 255.255.255.0, and no shut. Go into that, the G01, IP address 192.168.1.1, 255.255.255.0, and no shut. Here it is. We finish from the gig Ethernet. That's 000 IP address 192.168.2.253, 255, 255, 255, 252, and no shut. Okay, that's 253, yes, and 255. That's exit. So okay, so now what we do, we finish with this configuration, that router. We're done with that for now, the IP addresses. Now let's jump to router number 2 and we finish that as well. So in router 2, similar to that, start all the time with no IP domain lookup. And then after that, start with the interface serial 000, the one which is not the DC. That's the here. That's the one. This is the one. Serial 00. Let's start with that one with IP address. What is the IP address here? 192.168.2.254, 255, 255, 255, 252, and shut. You may notice that become green now, as you can see that, because like when you put IP on one side of the interface, one side of the link, like this one, still down because the other side is still down. So you have to put both of them up so everything can become up. So now we finish with the first and the second router in terms of that side. Let's go to the other side, the ISP side. Now I'm going to go for the serial 001. That's the one which is in the side of here, this one, the DC, the serial 001, this one. What is the serial 001 here? Okay, so this one is the IP address 209.165 and 200.226. The subnet mask 255.255.255.224. Shut, and here it is. Now we finish with that. That's it, the DC1. As you can see that's it, the DC. Serial 001. Now let's last one, which I have to do it on the ISP. As you can see that I configured this one, however, it's still that down. Now I'm gonna go here and I will configure the ISP, the last one. So no IP domain lookup. And now interface serial 001 IP address, the 209.165.200, and that's 225, 255, 255, 255, 224, and no shut. Here it is. Let me check that. Yes, ops now, everything is cool, no problem. So now you can ping from this, from here to here. If you want to ping from here to here, so on. Let's see how it goes. If you want to double check your work. Since we do not have a routing protocol, you will not find that it's easy to ping from one area to another. So what we usually do to, just let me take you a basic. Since this one, we want routing. So for example, if I want to ping from here, just let me just make sure. Let's ping from here to the router, which is 225. Let's ping to 209, 165, 200, and 225. Nothing. We cannot ping. Yes. Why is that? Because that we are missing right now the basic, which is the routing. So what I need to do, I'm going to go on router number 1 here now, and I will start configure the routing protocol, which is easy, by the way. Just only list all the network. As you can see that all those networks, 192.168.0.0 and 000 and 255. And sure, the area is 0. Repeat that one with 1.0 and repeat that one with 2.0. But this one, make that one is, instead of 255, make this one with 252. And here the area is 192.252, and here 000.3. That's the network we are talking about here, the 252. That's the network. Instead of putting 3.0 as I have done, they list it as 252, which is okay, like this one. We want to make that 252. So here it is, that's 252. That's a limitation only, by the way, nothing else. So we put this one here, and we done with that. Yes, over here. So what I did exactly, I put all the list, this one and that one and that one. Over here, I'm gonna post this one and that one. So let's go the same thing here, and I will put on router, and I'll put the same thing. The network, the first network, 192.168.2.252 and 0.0.0.3 area 0. Then the second network, which is 192, 160, sorry, 192, 200. Here, as you can see that, watch this one. That's the neighbor start establish between here and here, which means that you can ping up to here for now. Now I'm gonna do, you can put that 209, 165, 200 to it, but since that one going to the ISP, we don't want you to put this one into the propagation, because the propagation usually we assume that link do not belong to the network, belong actually to the ISP provider. So we cannot put this one as within our configuration. However, if you have a normal router linked to other router, you can put that inside and put over here the originate. Okay, so you actually put that here. So how are you gonna put the routing from router 2 to here and back from the ISP to the router 2? If you have a normal router like within inside the network, as I told you, just to add this network to the router OSPF number 1. But since we have a scenario here from the network, this is my network, and this is belong to the ISP provider. So we're gonna use the static routing from here to here, here to here, which means that we do not have overseer over the ISP router. So let's go from, we have done the default originate, and this is router number 2. I'm gonna do the IP route, which is the 0.0.0.0.0.0.0, which is everything. In short, whatever you have directed statically, default static to 209.165.200.226. Where is that 226? Let's see, here it is, 225 at here. Since I put it that, I'm gonna put it here as 225. Since I put the address here to 25, so I'm here, I'm gonna direct it here to 225. And I will go to this one, and I will direct that the same thing. Here it is. IP routes 0000 to 209.165.200.226, and what we call that the next hub. Now let's go back again to that router, and let's see that if I can ping one more time from here or not. Can we ping the 209.165.200.226? Yes, we can. What about 225, which is the ISP? Yes. So which means that I have a connection from here up to here. Done? Done. In normal way, if I put any IP, let's just only for the sake of the demo only for the demo. So I'm gonna put IP here. Watch this one. That's 192.168.1.10, and my gateway 192.168.1.1. Okay, just only for the sake of the demo, nothing else. So I'm gonna go here and I will ping 192.160. Let's ping the ISP direct right away. 209 and 165, 200, 225. Here it is. So I can ping from here to here, which means that all the connection is correct, everything is correct. So, but however, we ask you, we don't want that static IP. We want those PCs to get a dynamic IP. Where are we gonna get the dynamic IP? Usually either to have a server or we have router. In this case, we're gonna put it onto the router. where is the router? We're going to be in router 2, which means that I'm going to put here, not here. In your coming case study assessment, I did ask you to put it here, which is much easier. So if you put it here, if you put the exclusion and all the configuration for the pool on router number 1, there is no problem. However, what about if I'm here in Sydney, I want to get the IP from Melbourne? What will happen? So for example, like that. So we're going to go over the router number 2, and I will type all those configuration the for the DHCP. If you want, usually we prefer to exclude 192.168.0.0, 0.1 until 10 or 9, whatever it is. So 192.168.0 to 10 or 9, whatever it is. So the same thing I'm going to do here. I will exclude 1.1 to 1.9. Now I'm going to declare that I exclude those 10 IPs from each pool. I'm going to create 2 pools, 2 different pools, one for here, one for there. So we exclude the 10 IPs just in case if we have servers and we want to assign static IPs to those servers. Now let's put those, create pools, and let's see how it goes. So that's IP DHCP. That's IP DHCP. Give it any name, doesn't matter. So they put it here, or give it any name you like. So that's R1J1, and over here, and what you want here. Here, and what you put the network 192.168. 1.0, 255, 255, 2550, and the default, you can skip those ones, by the way, but anyway, here it is. The DNS, you can put it, don't worry about that. If you want, yes. If you don't, it's okay. That's 209.165.200.225, which is the ISP provider, by the way. And put the lease 2. And then if you want, that's command double S2. That didn't work with the it didn't work with let me just go first. Domain name, I'll show you. abc.com, like that. And here, this command didn't work with packet tracer. However, it worked with the real equipment. Similar to that, DHCP, the lease. So pool and give it another name, whatever it is, R1G1. Usually I put ABC, XYZ like that very quick, but for the sake of the demo only, I try to follow as much as I could. Here it is. And the default as well router 192.168.0.1, and the DNS server, that's 209.165, 200, 200, 225, and the domain name xyz.com. Anyway, it doesn't matter for that. As we can see here, if you put the lease as well, it's going to give you an error. So that's it. So here it is, and we're done with that one, and there's no problem with that. So now I put the on router number 2. Okay, so I put the IP here, right? So, and if you want to see that, by the way, here it is. You can see that the DHCP, here it is, and all the configuration done here. So can I get an IP? Let's go here and let's change that from static to dynamic. Do we got any? Let's go over here as well. I'm going to delete what I have done here from static. I'm going to change it to dynamic. Nothing. Nothing. Okay, so what is the issue here? The issue that you put the DHCP server on that router. That can be in Melbourne. And you are here in Sydney. Try to get the IP, which means that in a different city, different network, different whatever. So what we usually do in that manner, we put on here the IP helper. The IP helper means the next hub. So, yep, here, for example, this is in network in router 1. I'm going to go in router number 1 here. And I will go here and I'll type interface 0.0. Oh, for the interface 0.0, if you want IP helper, IP helper address, if you want anything from any, if you want to help with IP addresses, can you communicate 192.168.2.254? That's it. That's it. Similar to that. So if you, for the interface G1, if you want IP helper, can you go for that one as well? Yes. Here it is. And I'm going to copy that to the, we done with that? Yes. Now let's run the one more time. If we can get an IP address from that server from router number 2 or not. Here it is. And what is the IP address? The first IP address we left it in the pool. If you remember, we exclude from 0 to 9. We exclude from 0 to 9. So 9 is out. The first IP after that, 010. And if you go here as well, you will find identical, almost the same. Here it is, 1.10. That's it. That's it. That's the whole lab. I believe it's like 15 minutes or so. Nothing else if you can follow the instructions. I hope that video was helpful. Thank you for listening.